What's up, paralegal bosses? In today's video, I just want to take you behind the scenes in the mini course that I'm about to release for Microsoft Lists. As a paralegal, I'm constantly keeping track of a lot of case data. Now, I need to optimize my use of that data because there are things I'm going to need from that data later on. I'm going to need to pull information to create things like a damages summary or a traders list, maybe to answer interrogatories or to produce things in document production, and of course, to track document production. So as a paralegal, you really have to shift your mind and start thinking like an attorney. You really need to reverse engineer the process, and when it comes to indexing your data, you need to start with the end in mind. And so in my mini course, we really dive into what that means when it comes to indexing our case data and starting with the end in mind. So in today's video, I thought I'd go ahead and pull some of the little items out of the introduction video that I've got for my students in this mini course and give you a little sneak peek to get things started, to get the wheels turning, and maybe even go ahead and start exploring Microsoft Lists on your own as a means of indexing your case data, reverse engineering that process, starting with the end in mind. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into things today. So let's talk about indexing with intention. Why do we index data? Say it with me. We organize to optimize. We are organizing our case data to optimize our results for that case, optimize our performance for that case. So let's dive in and talk about that a little bit further. You have planning, because we want to start with the end in mind, right? We have this plan to create this index and why we need it. We know what the desired outcome needs to be. We know where we need to be at the end. We know that we need a deposition index because we're going to go to trial in the end, and I need those depositions pulled for trial. That can help expedite our witness list. So in the middle of planning and outcome is strategy. And we can start with the end in mind because this is an industrial line that we go through. We are often doing the same things over and over and over again, just in the different cases and probably at different times. Let's talk about starting with the end in mind. And in order to do that, we have to ask ourselves some questions. What is the purpose of this index? Why do I need it? What data do I need to track in the index? And finally, what will I need from this index to create efficiency? Really, that's what I'm trying to do, is foster efficiency and get me there faster, get you there faster. Let's dive into this. Let's use an example for a document production index. What is the purpose of this index? Why do I need it? We need it to better organize and track documents produced by party during discovery. There are lots of things that we need to track during the course of discovery. Document production is one of them. We're going to use that document production probably in depositions later. We're going to pull information from that document production, and we are going to mark those items as exhibits in depositions. Maybe we're going to pull them and use them in motions. We're going to use them in arguments. We're certainly going to use them in trial if we go to it. Maybe you're going to incorporate those things as part of a mediation statement. Let's look at the next question. What data do I need to track in this index? For a document production index, I need to track the documents produced, who produced it, when they produced it, what the documents are responsive to, the base range for those documents, the type of those documents or the category for those documents, perhaps some notes on those documents, maybe a hyperlink back to those documents. Those are all of the things that I need to track now, so that later, when I'm searching for things to pull out of the document production index, it's much easier for me to find those things. All right, next question is, what will I need from this index to create efficiency? That's what I'm trying to foster here, guys. Create filtering and group by options for my team to quickly access case data in order to more efficiently prepare for depositions, motions, mediation, arbitration, settlement negotiations, trial, and everything else. What is it? as part of your day-to-day operations, your day-to-day processes that you need to track the most? What is it that you can incorporate into a Microsoft list? You can incorporate with all this data that's going to make things down the road much more efficient for you. And that's what I mean by tracking with intention and starting with the end in mind. There is a lot of power in lists. So you can index and summarize case data. Of course, we really need to do that when we've got a lot of volume going through our cases. We can use Microsoft Lists to even trigger Power Automates, such as linking a document library folder to an index to automate the indexing process. We can track case milestones. In fact, I have 5 lists that I keep on each one of my SharePoint sites. Those lists consist of each phase of litigation for me: onboarding, pleadings, written discovery, oral discovery, trial. I may bring in something for mediation or bring in something for arbitration, but those lists encompass all of the milestones that must be met in my case. And therefore, I'm able to use Microsoft Lists as a means of tracking not only case data, but milestones that are taking place in my case. So there are 2 ways to create a Microsoft list. You can create a list from a SharePoint site, and you can click that new right up here at the top left of your SharePoint site. It's right next to that home button on the navigation menu. You can click new and choose list as your option. Alternatively, you can create a list right from the Microsoft List application. To do that, you're going to want to click that waffle up in the top left corner of your screen and select the Microsoft List application. From there, you're going to want to select New List, and it'll give you some options here. So you can start from a blank list. You can start from an Excel document. We'll talk more about that later. And then you can start from existing list as well. And of course, bonus tip for you, from Excel, you can bring in any Excel document into Microsoft Lists by formatting the Excel document as a table. Of course, you can download any of my formatted as table Microsoft Excel documents that you can easily upload into Microsoft Lists and bring them through to your SharePoint site. And make sure you check out our newest items, which is a medical records chronology and summary, a damages tracker, as well as a deposition abstract outline. Finalize your list or your index once you've created it. You're going to want to give it the index a name. You're going to want to give that index a description if needed. Choose a color, choose an icon. You're going to want to determine if you want this list in your navigation menu. And that navigation menu is listed right there on the side pane, on the left side of the pane of that home page of the SharePoint site. Or you can choose to bring that list through to its own particular page or on the home page of the SharePoint site. And of course, my Microsoft 365 Masterclass teaches you all how to do that. So check the box to show Insight Navigation if desired and go ahead and click Create. So let's talk about column formatting options when we have created a Microsoft list. When indexing case data using Microsoft List, the power in the list is really through that column formatting. So think ahead for filtering and grouping options. But when we're giving ourselves filter by and group by options, we're enabling ourselves and our team to be able to hone in on the data that we need, remove the data that we don't, and narrow our focus down to pull or look at things that we only need to be focusing on in that moment. So you also have show hide columns, and these are columns that are given to you by Microsoft that they have hidden. Now there are a couple options in there that I really like. That created by, modified by. That is tracking things that are being created and modified on lists. That's not any data that you're having to manually enter. It's just items that are being tracked. And I really like that because I don't want to have a person enter their name necessarily when they change an item on a list. If that can be automated and exclude that process for them, that's awesome. That's what I want to do. So let's talk about list view options. And most people don't actually see this as one of their options because they never look at the view. And create new view is the way for you to create literally new views on how you view the data in your list. So if your list is for storing case milestones that must be met within a certain time frame or by a deadline, viewing that milestone management list, for example, would be beneficial to view in calendar format, as it would aid in visualization and help to prioritize day-to-day operations. If you would like to pre-enroll in the Microsoft List mini course, head over to arrowconsultants.thinkific.com and sign up for pre-enrollment. The moment that it launches, you will be notified. Items on our curriculum include how to start from Excel and build your own indexes, how to use Edit and Grid View in OneDrive to bring data into your indexes, exploring Microsoft Lists templates and templating for your organization, managing contacts with Microsoft Lists, column formatting options and style changes, Microsoft Templates Deep Dive and access to 10 template indexes and how to format them. We're going to talk about tracking client documents, liens, medical records. We're going to go over that medical records chronology and summary and damages tracker. And of course, we've got litigation ahead of us. So we're going to take a deep dive into pleadings indexing, written discovery, depositions, document production. We're going to talk about all of those indexes that we need to track our cases going through litigation and really expedite our processes later on down the road when we're preparing for motions, depositions, arguments, trial, and things like that. So of course, I'd love it if you would connect with me if you need any help. There will be some links offered to book a consultation with me if you're interested in incorporating Microsoft 365 as a viable practice management solution in your practice. If you liked today's video, be sure to smash that subscribe button and click that thumbs up so other people get alerted to videos just like this. There is also that little bell notification below, and if you click that, you'll receive a notification of each time I post a video on here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Of course, good luck to you in all that you do, because this crazy legal industry needs an amazing paralegal boss just like you. Have an awesome rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend ahead of you, and I will see you guys back here on the next one. Mwah! Bye, guys.